One thing Greg said that day was that, oh, I know I'm gonna die young. My name's Rique Bentley, here from Jacksonville, Florida. Born and raised here all my life. I actually stayed in South Carolina a little bit with my mom. Just living in between cities, had different friends, different cities and whatnot. Like I say, born and raised here in Jacksonville, got majority of my family here, the Bentley side of the family. Like I say, majority of my life I've been here. I always wanted to expand Jacksonville. That's what I wanted to do. Basically, saying I'm from Florida, is say I changed my city around. Just, how I grew up. It wasn't, all peaches and cream or whatnot. It was just, we got how we live. Shoot, our family was, fortunate at the time when my granddaddy was alive, to be able to provide. But, it was just, hey, getting how you live. I really could say when my mentor died. My mentor, Hezekiah Griggs III, his mother and his sister, the close family call him Hezzy. He was a venture capitalist, one of the youngest African-American, venture capitalists at that, doing his thing. At the time, he was 28 years old, make a long story short, I went to college at Missouri State University. I was on a football scholarship from playing at Fletcher High School. I was playing football up there in Springfield, Missouri, and one day me and my homeboys, we was just, in the rec playing basketball or whatnot. Not really, just chilling this off season, just chilling with my homeboys and they're playing basketball or whatnot. And this skinny, light-skinned dude came out of nowhere talking about he wanted to play basketball with us or whatnot. And, he was with Dr. Cootwood. Dr. Cootwood, he was one of the, higher ranked guys on campus. He was a cool dude. I think it was his son or either his nephew, I'm sorry, but he played football with us. And Dr. Cootwood was just cool. He was just introducing us to him. He was like, y'all don't even know who this man is. At the time we didn't. He just a dude, light-skinned dude trying to play basketball. We usually ran the courts, with people I had. But they wanted to come play basketball with us, man, and doing so, they told us who he was, multi-millionaire. That at that point, I was in college, I never met a millionaire before. And so it was just like a shock to be like, okay, well, this man here is a multi-millionaire, only being credited through Dr. Cootwood, you get what I'm saying? I didn't really know who he was, so somebody tell me you're a multi-millionaire, I'm like, show me, you get what I'm saying? And so it was like a shock moment, honestly. And, he talked to a couple of us after the fact, after we played basketball with him. Me not knowing at the time he had hopes of enriching our lives, you get what I'm saying? Let us be experienced to things we've never seen before, you get what I'm saying? And at the time, I'm just talking to a light-skinned dude who just played basketball with, you know what I'm saying? And so, in going through and telling us who he was, it was like, well, dang, I may never meet somebody like this again. And so it was a couple things that he said to us guys, and, it was out of the whole group, I say it was like 3 or 4 of us who actually stayed, and talked to him, because at first he was like cocky. To us, he was cocky because we didn't know who he was. We didn't know how he talked. You know what I'm saying? At first he was cocky, he telling us this is Griggs. If you know Griggs, this is how he talk. But it wasn't something I was used to. So basically him, coming to me and telling me my flaws that he saw within me at an early age, I'm like, who are you to tell me that? You get what I'm saying? And at the time, I didn't really understand the whole bigger picture of it, But like I say, it's an overall blessing, though. I just met him. But yeah, man, so he put us through this whole mentorship intro type thing, and basically making promises to him, telling him that we would be better than him, that we will always strive to be greater, you know what I'm saying, that we would help others, that we would never lie to him. It was like a series, there was a list of rules, he put all of his mentees through it. And like I say, at the time, like, it really just gave me a self-realization moment in college. It was like, dang, this man, he really trying to help me out. This was something that I never, experienced before. I never had a guy, try to come in and tell me my flaws, especially, somebody that you don't know. How you gonna try to just tell somebody, their flaws and you've never met them a day in your life? And so, like I said, the whole process, was life-changing. I actually cried on the phone, honestly, with him, just because it was like, dang, after this point, after this moment in my life, I will never be the same, like, period. And, just thinking about my family, thinking about my friends, how I could help them, how I could, finally step into the light that I always wanted to be for myself, for my town, the hometown hero type thing. And, it was just, it was a joyous moment, and so, like I say, just meeting him through the next couple of years and me going through college. This was in, 2013, 2014. It was my sophomore year. Yeah, my red shirt. Yeah, it was my sophomore year when I met him. And like I say, man, it was just, at the time I didn't understand what it was. I was just thinking, he's a guy trying to, help me out with a program or something like this, not understanding that he was actually taking me under his wing and teach me the ropes, you know what I'm saying? Teach me how to be a man, how to conduct myself, how to run businesses, how to run multi-million-dollar businesses at that, you know what I'm saying? Selling multi-million-dollar deals, at nothing to you, just literally you doing what you do, specializing in something that you do. And, what his whole thing was, we have this little band. We have this little band that says, I'm a leader. And, it has a website on there, juniorambassadors.org. And, you basically can see, what all we stood for. But, I'm a leader. Like my mom always used to tell me, you always want to be the head, not the tail. You always want to be the leader of the pack, not falling in the back, And so, that's something that I always kept, even, just period, just throughout my whole life, just because, I always saw myself as a leader, wanting to be, the guy on the football team who always made the plays, wanting to be the team captain, the defensive captain, you get what I'm saying? Always, just trying to push other people to do better, you know what I'm saying? And so what Griggs was that person to take what I had, the little bit I had, that little spark of light that I had, and, expand it 10, 20, 30 fold, you get what I'm saying? And so, so like I say, just keeping in contact with him. I end up going back home from college, going back to South Carolina, and, just talking with Griggs and stuff. It was a period in time where me and Griggs wasn't even talking. I would try to duck and dodge his calls, bro, just because, I either wasn't doing something right. I knew he was gonna call me to get on to me for doing something, wrong that I need to be doing right. Basically put me in check. I didn't want to live correctly. He was always calling me to put me in check. So like I say, I was ducking and dodging his call for like a couple of months, and every single time I talked to him, he was like, young man, I haven't talked to you in a long time. And yeah, man, it's just, he always wanted to check up on you, make sure you was doing what you had to do, make sure you was doing right, make sure you're being consistent. At the time, me being younger, I'm only 23 years old, but me being in that early 21, range, I was still trying to figure out life, what I wanted to do, you know what I'm saying? And I really wasn't trying to abide by no rules right now, you get what I'm saying? Just really want to live my life, but that's my dog, bro. Greg is my dog. He always called upon me every time we talked. It was love. Just always telling me, how to better myself, telling me what he did, what he was going through. Sometimes we'd just be on the phone. I'd just be letting Griggs talk, you know what I'm saying, just because he wanted to talk to somebody. He had other mentees and whatnot, but I don't know if he just told me this or if he told everybody this, but he'd be like, I'm your favorite. He's like, you're my favorite mentee or whatnot. And, just that inside itself, I love everybody, like I say, all the other mentees, they know we cool, you know what I'm saying? But that gives you, some type of sense of entitlement, You get what I'm saying? You know, just to say that you're someone's favorite. You get what I'm saying? And at the time, of a man of his stature, like, and like value to the world, like that's something he used to brag all the time. Like, I'm friends with Oprah. You know what I'm saying? I'm friends with Coretta Scott King. You know, just I don't know them. You know what I'm saying? Those are people who have been a big impact to, you know, African American history. With, you know, Coretta Scott, her dad, Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? And so even Oprah inside herself, that's something that I may not ever, you know, get to say, you know, I was a friend to, you know, someone that high of stature, but just to, you know, be able to be credited from somebody of that, you know, higher rank, and, you know what I'm saying, in my life, in my terms, you know, higher rank in life, you know, that's uplifting, you know, that's giving you that sense of, okay, well, you know, at least I'm doing something right to be his favorite. You get what I'm saying? And so, like I say, it's just, you know, with Griggs, he was always following up with me, you know, just talking to me. And so, I forgot when it was. He just basically wanted me to go out of town with him. He said, I want you to come with me, you know, on a trip. You know, I just want you to come. I was like, all right, Griggs, I'm gonna come. I used to tell him I'm always gonna come, you know, just to experience that. He said he just wanted me to experience. So, we were here in Jacksonville. He was actually coming down to buy a house in Jacksonville. You know, what really was a realization moment to me was when, you know, his house limit, like, you know, what he wanted to purchase a house for, his house budget, I guess you can say, it was like $2.3 million. And so when he coming into Jacksonville saying that he wanted a $2.3 million house, I'm like, okay, I'm finna take you to Mandarin, you know what I'm saying? I'm finna take you up to the Mandarin High School on that road. And, you know, I kind of took him up here. He was like, oh, these ain't nothing, you know? So we had a real estate agent, my good friend Norcus, from high school. I played football with him and whatnot. He got us right. And so, you know, Griggs ended up leaving. He was coming down to check out some houses. He ended up leaving to go on a business trip, and he came back. It wasn't even a week. It wasn't even a week later. We're looking at multi-million-dollar houses. You know what I'm saying? Literally with, you know, 3 floors, you know, 3-4 floors. You know what I'm saying? A portico. That's one thing that he wanted, was a portico. These are $1 million, $2 million, almost $3 million houses that he was turning down because these houses did not have a portico. Like, it was like, I'm shocked to even go in the house, you know what I'm saying, to even step foot on the premises in Jacksonville, you know what I'm saying, my hometown. And this man is complaining about a portico. Like, and it was mind blowing, and in the same sense of, you know, the vision. For me to even see that type of stuff, for me to even touch a multi-million-dollar house door, to even say that my mentor had the hopes of buying it. You know, some people never even see a multi-million-dollar house in their life, but at a young age to be able to envision it and touch it, you know, to see, okay, well, this is what it's listing for. This is what you have to do to get it. You know, this is the stuff you have to pay around as far as, like, you know, the community fee, you know, the docking fee, if it was a lake behind it, if you even wanted to change the color on the house. You know, you just got to go through a whole bunch of different stuff, man, just to touch it, to hear it, to, you know, experience that in real life. That gave me, you know, the motivation to be like, okay, well, shoot, since Griggs getting this at 28 years old, and I'm only, you know, at the time was 21, why can I not get this at 28? You know what I'm saying? Why can I not, you know, put myself on his frequency to operate and, you know, do what he's doing, you know, within my life, you know, take from what he's doing and, you know, incorporate it into mine and, you know, mold my life the way I wanted to do, you know, the way I wanted to live, you know, living in a multi-million-dollar house, like, you know what I'm saying, with me and my family. And just him taking me on, you know, just looking at houses, you know, it was a couple that that he decided on. It was actually like 3 of them that he was deciding on. And when we had a trip planned literally like 2 days after that. And when we came back, he would purchase the house. And so, like I said, we were looking at the houses and whatnot. That day ended up, you know, ending and whatnot, and we were getting ready to leave on the trip. We had made a trip. We had planned a trip on going to Atlanta, It was Atlanta, Warren Robin, Georgia, Cincinnati, Tennessee, and what did we stop? And Jacksonville was our last stop. You know what I'm saying? Because we had to make the purchases and whatnot. And, just even going from city to city to city within a week's span, just going to these multi-million-dollar, like, meetings, him, just critiquing people on their companies. It was a guy, I think it was Rayon Evans. I want to say he was a real estate agent in Warren Robin, Georgia. And, basically we were out to eat, and Griggs took a napkin and wrote a 4-year multi-million-dollar deal on a napkin, for this man's business, basically telling him, you're going in the right direction, but if you incorporate this, and that, within 4 years from you flipping your house, you'll have a multi-million-dollar business. And I'm like, to myself, I'm just thinking, like, for you to even have that type of knowledge to just write down on a napkin, a multi-million-dollar deal, like, that's planning on happening, you know what I'm saying? Just from what he's giving you. That's a gift. That was like a aha moment to me, actually seeing him work, with a real estate agent, something that I really wanted to do, just to invest into, real estate or whatnot. And just to sit down and for him to critique him, me being his mentee, understanding that I would get more, I guess I wouldn't say more out of him. I don't want to seem like I'm taking him, but, more knowledge, on how to do, more in life, than the guy who's paying him to do that. You know what I'm saying? And just that was it. That was like dang, like, this is who this man is. Like, this is what he's capable of. This is what he has planned for my life that I can't even see. You know what I'm saying? And that was the moment I'm like, well, I thank God that I met Griggs, because I see what he wants in me that I couldn't even at the time see for myself. You know what I'm saying? And from that point, it was nighttime. We drove to Tennessee. We literally slept. Like, we went to a rest area, we slept. And Griggs hated driving in traffic, bro. And, like, this is my first time taking a big road trip for real. So we were driving in a Benz. It was Mercedes. I forgot what class it was, high class, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it was my first time driving a Benz. It was just, everything was like hitting me. It was like, well, dang, this is what my life is planned on being, like, driving from city to city in a Benz, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have to pay for that, you know what I'm saying? That was literally free, the company gave us, you get what I'm saying? And even on Twitter, bro, I took a picture when we had made it to Tennessee, and Mercedes, the official Mercedes account, mentioned me back, I was like, the shining star, and I was like, thank you, Mercedes, for the car and whatnot has been, giving us a good time and whatnot. And she was like, Mercedes responded back, and they were like, I'm glad the shining star is treating you right. It was the official account, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this can't get no better. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is aligning with what they're selling in life. What I would think my life would be like is, starting to, hop on and starting to get on track. And, like I said, we traveled, he was basically just going around helping these people who paid him make their business better. You know what I'm saying? And it was even on Sunday, but right, the Sunday before we came back home, we were in Cincinnati, and we went to church. And it was this old Mount Zion church. This church had, like, it was older. Like, there's nothing wrong with the church. It was just, I want to say it was 1972 that it was built. I don't want to say it was built, but it was still up since that time. That's a long time ago. And the city is evolving around it. And, the guy who owns it, Griggs is basically telling him, what to do. The whole city is evolving around him. And you have this big plot of land. Exercise your ability to, make the best out of it. So Griggs is now critiquing him on, okay, what he needs to do to, get the most money, because the city had already tried to come in and, try to get it from him. But it's a historical landmark in the same sense. Some people don't want to even move it. And Griggs was basically telling him, you make them pay for what, your generation ahead of you had already established. You know what I'm saying? And basically just telling him, putting him up on game on the business side, you know, what he was lacking, you know, telling him just, okay, this is what you need to do. You know, if they want to take in, they're going to come in here and try to barge in and take everything. Make sure they already have you another church that's already paid for. You know what I'm saying? Make sure they're paying you something on top. You know, just coming into people's lives and helping them. You know what I'm saying? Just so that they can get the most out of it. And then the pastor ended up, you know, taking us to his house. And this guy has all type of African souvenirs, like memorabilia from his just different trips to Africa, where he had like tortoise shells with like a knife in it with a sword, bro. He had different paintings, amazing paintings, you know, just of African culture. And just to see like what type of guy this was inside himself, like taking trips to Africa. This man is amazing. You know, and Griggs, my mentor, is helping him with his life. This guy's like, he's probably, I don't want to say he old. He probably like 40, 50, you know what I'm saying? And for Griggs to be 28 years old, to come in and, you know, basically help this guy in life. You know, like where I come from, like in Jacksonville, when I was growing up, a lot of people didn't really help people out. You know what I'm saying? It's really just, you know, you get it how you get it. You know, if you found something, you stick to it. You know, in some cases, you going out robbing and shit. If you good at hitting licks, you know, that's good at hitting. You good at hitting licks. Not saying that's the good thing to do, but you know, that's how we were taught. That's life. You know what I'm saying? But for somebody of Griggs' stature to come in and teach this man how to make millions. You know, you can rob and jack all you want to, but robbing and jacking will not make you millions. You know, that comes with a risk. That comes with, you know, the police getting, you know, somebody being in the house when you're trying to go in, you know what I'm saying, something, bad outcome turn, you know what I'm saying? Just that ain't the way I was trying to go. You know, for me to, you know, sit down and find myself with God, you know, ask God, you know, show me the way, you know, show me what I need to do. And like I say, every time you pray for something, your blessing might not be in a package. It might not be in a, you know, it might not be a nice car with a bow. You get what I'm saying? It may show up sometimes in somebody or in a way that you might not like it. I saw a quote a couple weeks ago. It was like, don't miss your blessing this week because it's not wrapped up in a way you would think it needs to be. You get what I'm saying? So Griggs, at the time I didn't understand it, but now Griggs and the way he talked, you know, how he talked to us, the way he critiqued us, the way we didn't even want to critique ourselves, you know what I'm saying? That was the blessing that wasn't wrapped up in a bow, you get what I'm saying? And at the time it was like, okay, well, you know, before it was like, who was Griggs and who is this man trying to tell me who I am? You know what I'm saying? Who is this man going to try to tell me what my future is going to be like? You get what I'm saying? And then understanding, okay, well, in order for me to excel, I need help. You know, you need help to reach that next level. You know, it's only so far where you can get yourself. You know, you can only get yourself so far. You know what I'm saying? And not necessarily saying that you need to take advantage of people, but have the spirit of discernment, you know, figure out what's good and bad out of what they're telling you, you know what I'm saying? And use that and incorporate that into your life. You get what I'm saying? And just being around Griggs and talking to these people and the way he talked, the way he addressed different things, like, you know, it put me on a different frequency, you know what I'm saying? And I had started trading literally right before I met Griggs. And, you know, it was in my beginning stages. I was, you know, still learning, basically telling Griggs, I think he already knew about it, but basically telling Griggs, you know, this multi-trillion-dollar industry, you know, that has a possibility of, you know, getting people financially free. You know, me finding this coming out of college, like, you know, I'm feeling like I'm ahead of the game. You know, I'm feeling like I'm finna be a multi-millionaire when I'm 25. And, you know, Griggs basically coming to me and saying, it's not going to come just like that. You have to put in the work. You know, you have to put in the effort. You got to put in the studying. You know, you have to figure out what you want to do, you know, and do it. The hard work has to come behind it. You know, everything now seems like I can get you a couple $1,000s real quick, you know, in a couple days. You know, that's not going to always last. You know what I'm saying? You have to get something and work for it so you understand the value of it. You know, if you don't put in time or effort or your value into anything, you won't see the value in it. You know what I'm saying? So if you get stuff with a quick return and, you know, you're not really putting any work into it, when it comes a time when you have to put in the work, you're not going to know what to do. You get what I'm saying? And through the experience, through the life, you know, that's what Griggs taught me, you know, just through living with him, taking these trips, talking to his guys, listening to him talk to these businesses that already made millions, you know, and that's the key thing for me at the time, because I wanted $1 million. Like when I was going into college, like I'm gonna be a millionaire. A millionaire to me was $1 million. When we were traveling to Atlanta, we were in the car. You know, he was driving, we were going through traffic or whatnot. He said he don't like driving in traffic, so he on his phone. He was like, I just closed a deal for $2 million. We're driving in the car now in traffic in Atlanta. If y'all stay in Atlanta, y'all know how Atlanta traffic is. He said, I closed a deal for $2 million. Show me the takes and all. I'm like, how you close a deal from your cell phone for $2 million? Like in my mind, you know, I'm thinking like, okay, you know, you got to go dress up, suit and tie. One thing about Griggs, this man always said he was comfortable. He said, I'll always be comfortable. This man wore Nike sweatsuits to businesses, bro, multi-million-dollar businesses. Not saying all the time, you know, he was respectable wearing his suits and stuff. He took pride, like he was prized on his suits. But, you know, he was like, always be comfortable, you know what I'm saying? And just to see him, like, I hope y'all getting a picture. A 28-year-old. This man's not even 30 yet. And, you know what I'm saying? He doing it big. You know what I'm saying? How we would envision rappers and ball players. Griggs, a man from New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? Literally making millions just because he committed to himself. He found something that he can do and was great in it. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that everybody is capable of what he was doing, but he found his blessing that he found what he could do to bless others, and he excelled in it. And that's what I try to tell people, you know, just from Griggs, you know, that's how I try to live my life, you know. What I feel like I can bring to people is value. You know what I'm saying? You know, how to make money. Excel in that. You know, learn how to do that so that I could take a napkin and explain a multi-million-dollar deal on a napkin to somebody, you know what I'm saying? And they use it and they, you know, become great with it. Write down the plan for somebody, you know what I'm saying? And they can follow that plan and become great in their own way. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I try to encourage everybody to do. But yeah, man, just coming back from the trip or whatnot from Cincinnati. We came from Cincinnati back to Atlanta, and yeah, we were just you know, we stayed in the hotel. We were at the La Meridian Hotel, and we were at the top floor, man. And it was a lady in there cooking. She always, you know, brought us fruit and stuff. She was an older black lady, and so she just started talking to me in Griggs, you know, just talking like, you know, what y'all boys doing in here? Like, I'm 23, Griggs is 28. He's like, y'all must be doing something right for y'all to be able to stay in La Meridian, the top floor. You know, Griggs telling him what he do. I'm basically just telling you, I'm just here, you know what I'm saying, helping him out. I'm his mentee. But one thing Griggs said that day was that, oh, I know I'm gonna die young. And you know, me, I'm like, you don't ever want to wish death upon yourself. You know, my mom always taught me that there's power in your tongue, you know, power in your words. And as soon as he said it, like, I was like, man, don't be saying that. And, you know, he justified it. He was like, oh, no, I know I'm going to die young. That when I die, you know, there would be a big parade about me. There would be a big commotion. And, you know, he wasn't even scared, like, to say it. You know, he was basically not saying bragging, but was confident that, you know, he would die young. And I'm just like, really, Griggs? And I kind of just brushed it off, you know, because I don't even want to hear that. And, you know, I forgot the lady's name. I wish I knew it. But she, you know, she was just basically telling him, you know, you don't say that, you don't say that, you don't say that. And he was, you know, he was sure that he would die young. So later that day, where were we? We went to another hotel. Where did we go? I forgot the hotel, but we met up with one of the guys that I actually played football with in college. His name was Jeremy Springer. And, you know, Griggs, it was me and Griggs staying at the hotel, and Jeremy came, and Griggs gave us this assignment. We were literally up to like 4 o'clock in the morning. He said, bring me an investable idea. So it's me and Jeremy in the room just basically trying to figure out, okay, what is an investable idea, man? I thought I was freaking Einstein in that room, thinking of all different type of stuff. I thought about having solar panels, like having the wind turbines on the side of the highway to let the wind, make electricity as the cars go by, and stuff. And he was telling me no. He was like, I got an investable idea. And that whole night, me and Jeremy stayed up until like 4 o'clock in the morning, not understanding what an investable idea was. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, it's crazy, bro. It's just like, we never figured it out. So the next day, we're getting ready to come back to Jacksonville. He's getting ready to drop me off. We're getting ready to, this is like a couple days before Christmas. He was, yeah, it is. It's a couple days before Christmas, and we just getting ready to come back home, getting ready to finish the deals on the houses, getting everything finalized. So, like I said, it was a long trip back from Atlanta. It was nighttime. It was like almost like 9 o'clock when I got back home. Griggs dropped me off home or whatnot. I gave him a hug. And from that point, it was like, okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow, Griggs. I'll talk to you when you get to the airport. He was going to Orlando to fly home for the holidays. And I was like, I'll talk to you when you get down there, blase, blase. I had to go to my dad's house, and I had my cousin with me. So he didn't leave the parking lot. I guess he was trying to figure out on his GPS where he had to go. And so, we passed back by him. I stopped. I introduced him to my cousin and whatnot. I was trying to tell my cousin, this dude is amazing. Basically explaining what I just experienced for the first time in my life. Traveling from city to city to city, being in these multi-million-dollar like business meetings. You know what I'm saying? And just like taking it all in. You know what I'm saying? And just leaving Griggs that night, not expecting to hear, a couple hours later that he would die in a car crash, literally leaving outside of Jacksonville. Like, if you're from Jacksonville, like going like towards the Bartram area, there's the bridge that says Jacksonville on it. And I'm not for sure if he didn't know whether to get up on, off of the interstate to the ramp or to keep going, but there's like a median, like a little safety zone where you can, it's supposed to be safe. But he was sitting there, I guess, trying to figure out what was going on, and a tractor trailer came in, like a truck came and hit him in the back, smashed his whole back of the car, and just hit him into the field. Car just completely totaled, and he ended up passing. I was woken up to that with my little cousin at like, I don't know what time it was in the morning. He was up. I don't know why he was up watching the news. And then he's woke me up. He was like, bro, your mentor, he don't even know my mentor. Literally, he just know my mentor from that split second in which I introduced him from us leaving, to go to my dad's house. And, he's like, bro, your mentor is on the TV, I'm thinking he lying, you know what I'm saying? He don't really know Griggs, so I'm thinking he lying. So I kind of go back to sleep for a couple minutes. And they bring it back up. And he's like, bro, he woke me up. I come to the front of the, I come to the living room, and I'm just looking at the TV. I'm just like, what? And he's like, Hezekiah Griggs, just said he was dead. And I'm like, what? It was at the time, it was like, what? It's still crazy how it was just like the best point of my life, literally experiencing everything I wanted to experience in life, knowing that with this man, I'm just going to be great. And then in me going to sleep, a couple hours from 9 to 12, they said that accident happened at 12. From 9 to 12, my whole life changed again. From never talking to this man again, Like from traveling on business trips to never being able to talk to this man again. And it's just like, I didn't even know who to call. Like I didn't even know who to call. I didn't even know who to talk to. Like if I know people felt that feeling in their life that I wouldn't even wish on my worst enemy. Just that feeling, that gut feeling inside of just losing somebody. Like I saw myself in him. You know, he was who I wanted to be, and it just vanished. And I'm just like, what is the reason? How can I just be, you know, at the highest peak of my life and then I literally just drop just because of this man dying? Like, the toll of it was just, it was crazy, bro. I was crying, bro. I couldn't believe it. My girl, she couldn't believe it. Like he literally met my girl for the first time when he had came to Jacksonville before when we were looking for the houses. And, you know, I was just basically telling him, like, you know, I want you to always, you know, I just want you to instill into her. I was telling her that I wanted her to, you know, understand who this guy was. You know what I'm saying? And like, it was just crazy, bro. That shit, it was like, I don't know, bro. It's just, you can't even explain the feeling. I didn't even want to do nothing. Like, even with me trading, you know, I had students. I wasn't talking to anybody. I wasn't eating, bro. I just felt like life was over. I was like, well, what else do you want from me? That's what I was asking. Like, what else do you want from me? I went in a whole depressive stage, you know, and on top of the Griggs dying, I was in almost $10,000 debt. You know what I'm saying? It was a deal I had, you know, dealing with some business and it gone bad, and I was like almost $8,000 worth of debt, almost $10,000 worth of debt, man. Bruh, and it just all hit me. How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna get over this? How am I gonna make it through? Like, what is going on? And through Griggs passing, it's just like, it was a part of a bigger plan. You know what I'm saying? It was a part of a bigger plan that I couldn't even like envision. I can't even think about, just because, like, you know, I wouldn't want my life to be like that. I always wanted a mentor. I didn't want to like experience the best moments in my life with this mentor, then he die. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want that to happen. And it's just like a realization moment of like, dang. And so like, this was like 2 months of depression, bro. 2 months of straight depression. And, you know, I finally, you know, got to a point where I was talking about it with my mama, talking about it with my girl. You know, my daddy, he understood it, but it was like nobody understood the feeling I was going through. You know what I'm saying? And it was like a dark place, bro. Like a dark place. And it was just a realization moment for myself where I didn't want to be there anymore. I didn't want to stay in that place moping. I didn't want to continue to think about Griggs' death, you know, and me not being anything after that. Because like in my mind during that time, it was like there was so much more that I needed to learn about myself, you know, and out of anything else. Like, this man helped me become who I was becoming. You know, I wouldn't even know the steps to become who I became at that certain time without him. So it's like, this man is ordering my steps, and it's like, he's gone. What next? What do I do next? And it was like a realization moment to me. It's where I got closer to God, you know, just sitting down asking, okay, why am I here? And it was like, to help people. You know, literally to help people. Everything I've always did in my life was always helping people. I just never knew it. Whether it was teaching people new football plays, whether it was being with my cousins on Bentley Lane, you know, just teaching them how to ride a dirt bike, or teaching them how to train dogs, teaching them how to get, you know, the fear of dogs, you know, out of the system. It's like I've always been helping people. Never knew what I was doing, but you know, it all came together. Like, it was just, I always been doing it. And so I'm like, why am I here? You know, to help people. And it was like, it was a point of, I was even questioning, okay, you know, who Jesus was, why should we, praise him or whatnot. And me going into this, I say a zone, me going into this zone of me figuring out who I was, you know, what I'm standing for, my beliefs, you know, understanding that, you know, God sends you these type of trials to, you know, see what you're made of. You know, some people never even meet a multi-million, like $1 million person in their life. For this man to be my mentor, you know, for him to immediately die after I saw, you know, the possibility of who he could be in my life. You know what I'm saying? And just even thinking about that, who am I? Who can I be? You know, me experiencing that young, it was like, I want to be like Griggs now. You know, that's the vision of what I could be by 28. You know, that gave me the hope and expectation of what I could be at 28. Thinking about it, you know, getting out of that dark place and be like, okay, what am I going to do next in my life? I'm going to be what Griggs promised, what I promised Griggs that I would be, better than him, you know, when I first met him. You know, just aligning my steps, you know, giving me credit for my life, me being able to take charge of my life, not putting my life in, you know, the hand of another man. Not necessarily saying it's a bad thing, but at that point of time where I thought I couldn't go anymore, I was in a place of giving all of my power, all of my energy, all of my will to be successful in the hands of a dead man. You know what I'm saying? And not to make that sound bad or anything, but I didn't have control over my own life, you know, and I had to grab what they say, grab life by the horns. I really had to grab this thing and figure out, okay, what I'm going to do. I'm not finna stay like this, you know, for the rest of my life. And being able to see who Griggs was and the magnitude of his life in that short period of time, that gave me hope and possibility of, okay, this is what we're working towards. This is the bar that's set. You know, this is what he wanted us to be better than. So anything that I do in life will be in representation of him, of wanting to be better than him. You know what I'm saying? And that came with me understanding who I was, me taking the time out and doing the hard work, putting the time into myself. You know, I wanted to be a millionaire, but I didn't know what it took to become a millionaire. I didn't know that I had to condition myself, you know, my mindset, my physicality to even be able to, you know, work these days or stay up these long nights, you know, to be mentally prepared to even walk in these meetings, you know, like a little blueprint, bro. Like, I didn't know that at first. Through him, I understand that now. It's not going to come easy. You know, just being able to, y'all, this man's life was amazing. Like, just to be able to shake hands with him, to touch that possibility of, okay, at 28 years old, I could be a multimillionaire if I apply myself. Why can't you do it? You know, and it's just like, yeah, I went through the depression stage, and, you know, yeah, I blame myself for his death because I was in Jacksonville where he died at. He didn't know I think he knew one former Eagle player that stayed here in Jacksonville. That's who he actually was going to, you know, see. But I blame myself for his death, man, just because the reason for him being in Jacksonville was dropping me off, you know what I'm saying? And then while we were here, there was this guy named Sean Wade. He was going to First Coast High School. He plays at Ohio right now. Shout out to young boy Sean. But, you know, he accepted him as a mentee. You know, I'm telling his family, I'm like, me from being in Jacksonville, I've never experienced this in a man. You know, his family was well off. You know, they got a nice house. Well, not something that I never had, but me explaining to them, like, this man can literally turn Jacksonville around with the snap of his fingers. And, you know, I blame myself just because we were here in Jacksonville, you know, and he didn't really know them. You know, he had a guy here, but that wasn't the reason he was here in Jacksonville. It was because he was dropping me off. And like I say, me leaving my life, you know, at a stagnant point just because I was basically, you know, having him help me what I needed to do, where I needed to go in the next step, you know, what I needed to do to get better, because I was, you know, asking him questions and stuff. He was helping me through the trials I was going through.
I was like, dang, without him, I can't be nothing. You know, and it took me finding myself. It took me, you know, going through what I went through to figure out, okay, Griggs wouldn't want me to still be down. Griggs wouldn't want me to still be in this sad place, you know, wishing and hoping he was here. He would want me to get up and do whatever it is I wanted to do. And one thing that I was recording him while he was in these videos. One of the videos, he said a quote. He was like, I believe that you can accomplish anything you want in life. No doubt about it. Just that, like, sentence, that statement, I didn't even know what I wanted in life at that certain time. But for him to say that I believe in you to accomplish anything you want to accomplish in life, anything. And he said, there's no doubt at all. But for somebody to say they have that much belief into me, not even knowing who I was, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. And I always tell people that, like, you set your mind to it, you do your work, like you figure out why, you understand, you have an understanding, you know, to why things happen, how to operate things, you know, something's good gonna come from it. That's how you excel in life, you know, that's what you want to do. You know, you want to understand it. You don't want to go into, like I said, you don't want to go in a war not understanding your opponent. You know what I'm saying? You always want to understand every outcome to become victorious. You know, life is not like a short race. It's a marathon, right? And it's like you just have to take everything that comes. Like on that marathon, you may hurt your toe or something. You know what I'm saying? It's a marathon. Keep going. You know what I'm saying? Something may happen. Shoot, you may trip and fall. Keep going. It's a marathon. It's not going to stop because you keep falling. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to stop because you hurt your toe. You get what I'm saying? And it's just a mindset, man, that you have to find for yourself. And like I said, with him passing and me going through that depressive state, it's like, okay, I had to figure out who I was. I got to figure out my mindset. I got to figure out what I'm going to work towards in life. And, you know, it really put me on my grind because I'm not settling for anything less than what Griggs did. You know what I'm saying? And that puts me on a different frequency that other people, you know, may not be on because they may have never experienced anybody like Griggs before. And I don't say that in a bad way. It's just the way you have to condition your mind. Like, some people aren't taught to condition their mind, but in order for you to, you know, be a good NFL player, you know, to be a good writer or something, a good videographer, you have to practice. You have to, you know, commit your time, your effort to it, you know, so you can be great in it. Like, that's period. That's with anything. And in order for you to do that, you have to learn different things. You have to experience different things. You know, you have to be strong-willed. And what that all, you know, comes together within is your mindset. What you're going to set yourself to do. What path are you going to take and how are you going to take it? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to be lazy and try to be an NFL player, or are you going to work every single day to be an NFL player? You know what I'm saying? In my case, I trade within the financial markets, the foreign exchange markets. You know, do I want to be a guy who puts on for Instagram, you know what I'm saying? Or do I really want to change my life to be financially free? And that comes with putting in on a chart time, you know, understanding different strategies, you know, to excel myself, to make me better at what I'm doing. It's not what, at the end of the day, it's not what everybody else is doing, because at the end of the day, you have to deal with your emotions. You have to deal with you being broke. You have to deal with, you know, just these different things in life that keeps us down. And, you know what I'm saying? I had to deal with Griggs dying. You know, I could keep telling people, you know, how I feel. But the fact that I'm not, you know, uplifting myself from it, I'm not getting anything from it. Like, you have to, like I tell people all the time, man, you got to do it for you. It's you versus you. I learned this from my pastor. It's you versus you. You have to deal with, you know, all the personal issues, all your battles within yourself, all your spiritual battles within yourself. Nobody else is there for you. You know what I'm saying? You have God, but nobody physically is supposed to be there for you. You know, you have to handle these things yourself, and that comes with getting yourself aligned with, you know, in my case, whatever God has planned for me. You know what I'm saying? Get yourself on a spiritual aspect along with, you know, align your mental with your spiritual, you know, and go after what you want to go for. Do it in the right way, you know, and if you just put your time to it, man, it's just like, that's why Nike just say, just do it. Just do it. You see what Nike doing, you know, they just doing everything. They're always better than themselves. Just do it. You know, it will, the fact that you're doing it and you're doing it with the best wishes, something good is going to happen, you know, just period. Like, as multiple people I've talked to using that same logic, that same lifestyle, you know, you reap what you sow. If you put in good, you know, seed, your harvest will be amazing. You know what I'm saying? Just period. And like, that's why I try to encourage everybody, man. Just if you're ever in a dark place, like in a deep place where you feel like there's no return, or that you can't come back from it, that you feel like there's no way but down, there is up. You know what I'm saying? You have to just get right. Tell yourself first off that, okay, I don't want to be in this situation anymore. Then figure out, okay, what do I have to do to get myself out of this situation? That comes with the hard work. That comes with putting in the time and understanding, okay, what it is that I need to do. The next, execute. You know what I'm saying? You talking about it, you thinking it, you dreaming about it, do it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's just do it. And like I say, you know, from you first envisioning it inside your mind, you know, saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Then the second, from you researching and understanding, okay, this is what I have to do to get here. And then 3, executing, bro, wherever you want to go, it's going to take you there. Period. You put in the work, you thought about it, you put in the work, and then you've done it. You know what I'm saying? Your harvest will be great, man. And that's just, even though it was a horrible situation, it helped me become who I am today by giving myself, you know, the authority, the power, you know, to control my life. And my life will be whatever I want it to be now. And it is it is, like, exactly what I want it to be now. You know, just because I did what I had to do. I got to my senses and came to myself and said, okay, we're not going to be here no more. So we had to get on it. You know, it's a big bag and we got to fill it. That's what I tell everybody. So that's life.